What's up, guys? Mr. Dan here, back again with another Tubi Tuesday review and also another Danielle Harris movie. So all of my Tubi Tuesday reviews have starred Danielle Harris. I just decided to keep going with it, and I actually found a pretty interesting film today that slipped by me about 10 years ago. It's more properly called a Michael Bain film. He does direct and star in this. This is a lower budgeted film. It seems like this was a bit of a passion project for him. And it also stars his significant other. It's actually a Bain Blanc production. It stars his significant other, Jennifer Blanc. Now, for those of you, and that's most of my viewers, who know who Patrick is from the Have Cheetah Will View channel, he has an interview series, 8 Questions With. He even interviewed some guy named Mr. Dan in Horror a while back. But he did interview Jennifer Blanc somewhat recently, actually. She's been acting for years. Long list of credits on IMDb you can check out. And in that interview, Michael Bain actually did put in an appearance. So they touched on Tombstone and the Magnificent Seven TV series, and it was really cool. It was really cool. So go back and check that out if you can. That was really cool. So yeah, Jennifer Blanc is in this. She's kind of like the main star, I would say, with Michael Bain. Danielle Harris's role is not as significant, but it's significant. I mean, it's there's about 5 people in the whole movie and a few smaller parts. Anyway, let's get to it. Now, I just watched the trailer for this film because I wanted to remember some of the names of the characters, and boy, a lot of people were like, what's up with this trailer? And I was almost kind of agreeing with them. It's got like a cheesy voiceover quality. Now, the film has an sort of an odd undercurrent. I'm not going to say humor, but it is, it's hard to describe. It's not humor, but it's kind of messing with you a little bit here and there. But this trailer made it seem like a grindhouse exploitation type film. I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. Okay? So just beware. As always, don't listen to the critics. If you're a fan of Michael Bain and or Jennifer Blanc, Danielle Harris, this is a pretty good film. Basically, plot-wise, you have a guy whose name is Kyle, who kind of keeps to himself. I believe this may be in Arizona, Colorado. I'm not really sure, but he lives by himself in the woods. He does go into town and associate with people. You see in the beginning, he's finishing up dinner. He gives his waitress, who he seems to know, a nice tip, and then he retreats back to his cabin. Well, meanwhile, you have a couple sort of hot to trot. Some of the phrases I use are from like 1,000 years ago. Okay, sorry, but you have these two girls, Annie and Mary, played by Jennifer Blanc and Danielle Harris, who are like exotic dancers and / like kind of like party girls. It wasn't clear to me whether they actually work as like call girls or not, but at any rate, they agree to go on like a date with these two guys out in the woods, and the two guys happen to be cops. The one guy is like a rising star on the force, but behind the scenes, he kind of does whatever he wants. And part of the attraction is they have stolen or procured some cocaine, illegally from, the evidence room or from a criminal, So they're not above doing that. So that's part of the reason why the girls want to go out and party with them. And it's an interesting role for Danielle Harris. You see more of her than I'm accustomed to seeing. I mean, she tries on a couple like skimpy outfits at one point, and her friend Annie's like, oh, the other dancer wears something like that. So then she goes back and changes, and there's not a lot to the one outfit, certainly. Both characters do a good job at making you feel kind of sympathetic for them, even though like most of us wouldn't really agree with that kind of lifestyle. Both characters seem like they're actually better than the lifestyle that they lead. I don't know how to explain it really, other than to say that they have a really good relationship. They say things to each other like, "Who's your favorite bitch?" "You are," things like that. As the story progresses, you see that through you see the relationship through a series of flashbacks. At any rate, this date in the woods with these two guys goes badly, okay, and the two police officers have to cover something up, and the one of the female characters escapes and finds Michael Baine's cabin, knocks on the door. He does not want to get involved at first. He does let her in. The cops come looking. Now they've got their official hat on, even though they're not dressed as police officers. But I believe they are able to furnish some identification, and they kind of question Kyle, and he's able to get rid of them. But if you think that's the end of it, of course, you haven't seen one of these. Kyle and Annie kind of begin sort of a relationship where he begins to trust her more. He does look up some things on the internet, finds that the guy is kind of squeaky clean on the surface, and Mr. Community guy on the surface, and he just basically he just starts to believe Annie as the film goes on. Well, eventually the cops come back, and there's just a lot of back and forth. The main police officer is played by Ryan Honey, and he does a really good job. He's very menacing. You kind of believe that he's the type of guy that can lead like a double life. So basically, they just take turns getting the upper hand on each other. That's pretty much it. I mean, the cops find out some information about Kyle and why he's a recluse. Some other things are hinted at. And then it's just there's a lot of back and forth, and who gets the upper hand. You have some flashbacks. It's a pretty entertaining film. And then there's a little kind of a twist at the end that maybe you saw coming, maybe you didn't. I can't really say much more than that. I mean, it's a well-made film. It's a well-acted film. During the end credits, they go out of their way to show not just the cast, but how at the end of Predator they showed each cast member. They do that with the crew. I mean, the special effects people, the lighting and sound people. So they really seem like they kind of came together, a small crew, and sort of bonded while they were making this. Very solid effort from Michael Bain. I missed it when it came out. I don't know what he's done since then, directorially. And I actually wasn't really too familiar with Jennifer Blanc. I'm pretty sure I've seen her in things, just she never really jumped out at me. She does a good job. Danielle Harris does a good job, as always. The two cops are good. Overall, it's a good film. I mean, I enjoyed it, especially if you like to see actors stepping out of their comfort zone and putting on their director's hat and trying something different, something challenging. I think you should enjoy this. And that is my review of The Victim. Tomorrow, I'll be back with a Wild Eye Wednesday review. Thanks.